Wildstyle. This is a game that I saw being played at Gen Con 2022. I did not have time to play then, those were busy days, but it looks super interesting, so I picked up a copy and then later I played it at home, and today I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. In Wildstyle, we are gonna go around the city and place our tags. We are heroic graffiti artists running from the police, but still great artists, and we're gonna place our tags represented by these discs here. Why are we doing so? To score points, of course. So we may score points because at the end of the game our tags form certain patterns on the board. Say, in this case, if I have a line of 5 tags, a straight line, I will score 6 points. If I have 5 tags in a district, districts are these individual boards here, that's 5 points, and so on and so forth. So you have different objectives. There are some more there. They are double-sided, so great variety regarding what scores at the end of the game, because that may change from game to game. Also, you'll score points based on the individual locations where you place your tag. And different locations will have different values, because tagging a shopping mall or a downtown area is one thing, but tagging a police station, that's worth a lot more points. The game is played in 3 rounds. Each player has 6 tags to play each round, and the end of the round will be triggered when either all draw piles are empty. Players will need to draw cards and play cards in order to be able to place their tags, or when only one player has tags remaining on their area. At that point, they can try to finish the sets that they have started. We'll see what that means, but they cannot start new ones. At the end of a round, each player receives 6 new tags, and at the end of the second round, going into the third, then each player receives another set of 6. So we play 3 rounds. At the end of the third round, again, we score individual tags, so we score patterns representing objectives. Player with the highest score wins the game. The town itself is formed using these boards, and you have some extra ones, and they're double-sided, so again, great variety there. The configuration and number of boards in the town also changes based on the number of players. Then we have some of these cards that are spread around the play area so that each player has easy access to them. And we have this substantial deck of cards, which is shuffle, 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 and again divided into smaller decks, which also are placed around the play area, so the players have easy access to them. Each player also has a hand of 3 cards. And then we are ready to start, and the game is real time. So once you start, everybody can start playing at the same time simultaneously. There are no turns. You just take one action after the other. The only rules are that you can take one action at a time. If you start one, you have to finish it before you start a new one. And also, play one card at a time, take one card at a time, don't like pick up and grab bunches of things. So, and you have also a very nice player here, remind you of what the actions are. If you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, then you can draw one from any pile that you see around that still has cards in it. Or you can also draw them from these cards here if there are any available. So for example, I have 2 cards, there's that card up there right now. I could pick up that one and put it in my hand. Or I can play a card. I can play a card in one of my projects here, my personal projects. If I have an empty slot, I can play any card that I want there. If I already started a project, it has to be a matching card. For example, railway, well, I can place another railway card there. Now I have 2, I can draw a card from here, for example. So you can play a card in your personal display if you have an empty slot or it matches a previous card there. Or again, I can place them on one of those cards representing sharing piles, in which case, if it's empty, I can place whatever I want. If it already has something on it, if it's those share piles already have cards in them, then the new card, I can discard it there if it matches the symbol or the color. When you place in your personal display, the color doesn't matter. Up there, it does matter. So here, shopping with shopping. I could also put it there, red with red. And I'm just looking for parks and railways right now. So I'm going to discard that shopping card there. This is not good. Although there is I have a 3 of downtown cards. So that's interesting. Because what I'm trying to do is to create sets of cards here with 3 matching cards. Suppose that I have an empty slot there, then I play 1, 2, 3. Once I have a set of 3 matching locations in a slot, I can discard them, and that is when I can place one of my tags in the corresponding area. That was downtown, so I put it on a downtown symbol. And that's the idea. People are rushing, playing cards, and grabbing cards and discarding cards that they don't need. 3 parks, so I can place 1 in a park. Again, trying to place those in valuable locations, and also trying to railway, and also trying to fulfill those patterns. You also want to put them in clusters, not just to fulfill those patterns there, but because at the end of the game, before final scoring, if you have a tag which is all said and alone, it is discarded. Womp womp. Suppose you get stuck, you have like a partial thing there, and for some reason you're really stuck, you want to get rid of it, you can rush it. That means that you can choose to discard it and complete it, even though it's not technically ready yet. And as a penalty for that, you're gonna take a police car token. At the end of the game, for each police car token that you have, you will have to discard a tag from the board. And again, if you really that helped you complete a valuable set, it may be worth. So that's the idea. Those are the actions. Remember, draw a card from the top of the draw pile, or take one from the share piles, add to a set, share a card, complete a set to place a tag, or rush a set to place a tag with the penalty of the police car showing up. This is the idea. Play for 3 rounds. The board by then will have a lot of tags on them. Score each objective up there, score each location, and individually, play with the highest score wins the game. Wildstyle. This is a fun game. Usually I like real-time games because, well, it's self-explanatory. They are exciting. You got an incentive to keep moving, and you're still trying to make good decisions. You're still trying to figure out your priorities, and they're really interesting decisions here because I really want to finish a set, and I'm stuck. I can finish it, and so should I get the police car and rush it, or just keep going a little longer? The idea of cutting your losses is always difficult because that's just not how the human mind works. We're wired to fear, to have loss aversion, and the idea of taking the penalty is hard, but I see other people are placing their tags, and so I just have to do it sometimes. I want to go for that specific area because that completes a pattern, but somebody else takes it. So it can have a little bit of a confrontational element because those patterns that people are trying to complete to score extra points, they're open to everybody. And so I see you're doing a straight line. I see you're trying to do the triangle. They will give you a lot of points. So all of the things being equal, maybe I'm going to place a tag there. But all of the things being equal, because people are probably not going to go too much out of their way just to be mean. Because if in order to do so, then my tag is alone and it's not going to do anything. It's going to be removed at the end of the game. Or I am missing on one of my objectives, then that doesn't work. So it feels like backstabbing people is just a pleasant occasional bonus. You backstab people if the opportunity presents itself, not because maybe you planned the whole game. If you do so, you're probably going to lose anyways. So it's a nice kind of balance there between the confrontational element and the idea of self-improvement, of pursuing your own objectives, the idea of parallel race towards the same objectives, but the space is limited. And occasionally, from time to time, you'll be ruining someone else's projects because without any intention to do so, because you're doing your thing, and it happens to be where somebody else had planned to do their thing, and now they're a little bit late. Later, you'll be a little bit late. So in the big circle of life and gaming, balance is restored. Real time with enough decisions there to make it really exciting, not too many that you will maybe like really blank or freeze, or again, with real time, you need to have just a nice balance there with a range of options, interesting enough for you to be making decisions, but not to the point of feeling overwhelmed. And I think this game does that very, very well. Production values are very nice, and the theme is fun. The idea of like, oh, tagging a police station, forbidden pleasure, guilty pleasure, maybe not even that guilty, just fun. And of course, we are in real time, so the perfect game for that friend who comes to game night, and everybody loves that friend so hard. If just that friend took a little less time to take their turn. We all have that friend. I'm lucky enough I have a couple of them. And, oh, God, why don't we play Wildstyle? And take your own time, no problem, while I'm placing my tags there. So there is that. Of course, the game is perfectly impervious to analysis paralysis. Everybody does it at some point. Somebody does it a little more often than other people. And we still love them. But maybe we play Wildstyle with them instead of, say, Arc Nova. So Wildstyle, a real-time competitive game with a lot of interesting elements, good production values, and just a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.